Aloha, friends and neighbors. Raleigh Frost here, Kona Astrologer. I'm going to do some work for you here. Hope you enjoy it and it profits you. We're going to cover the sky mirror first, and then I'm going to dig into Pluto a little bit. That's a pun because Pluto deals with all the things underground, secret, Scorpio stuff. Anyway, Pluto is our theme. But before we get there, let's take a look at your sky mirror for the next week. Some important stuff. Let's see, you're still on the new moon at 27 Pisces that happened on the 1st of March 3rd, I think. That new moon, by the way, was right on Chiron, the wounded healer. So March is kind of like the month when you want to help everybody. At least until the next full moon, or the next new moon, which is in the full moons at 11 Virgo trine Saturn. So that was a couple of weeks ago. You kind of organized, aren't you? Next full moon is Saturday on the 31st at 11 degrees of Libra. It squares Saturn. So after that full moon, the end of March, you're going to have trouble getting organized. You had a good month for it. Try to finish up because it'll be difficult to do later. The full moon squares Saturn and opposes Mercury. And Mercury's still retrograde. It's funny, I'm doing things twice. Even I'm back in the middle of February trying to get ahead. So Mercury goes direct April 15th. And after that, you won't have to, do so many communication, transportation things twice. I guess the biggest news might be that at your end of next week, Mars conjuncts Saturn. This is a big thing. Now, these are the two bad guys of the zodiac. Mars is across a matter over the circle of spirit. Saturn's across a matter over the crescent of flesh. These two guys are notorious for putting money before people. And when they get together, things can get mean. Yes. And the judge could become angry. And I think the main thing is Mars is heat. Saturn's ice. And Mars on Saturn means heat melts ice. Yes. Here's the way they look on the sky mirror. Mars going from 3 to 9 Capricorn. Saturn sitting there at 9 Capricorn. Whew. The nice thing is, might soften Mars up a little bit, because Venus is there at the end of next week, trining Mars. So the goddess of love and sex, Juliet, might mellow Mars out a little bit, but, and conjuncting Saturn might discipline Mars. Of course, Mars is the military, too. The biggest employer in the United States is? That's a Franklin out there in my yard, trumpeting. There are 3 biggest employers in the world. The first one is the Department of Defense. Yes, your military is the largest employer. And then the Chinese military, they got a lot of people, second. The third largest employer is Walmart. But look out, why are we employing all these Martians to make war and kill people and blow things up? There's something crazy going on here. Maybe we can downgrade this Martian stuff a little bit at the end of next week. What's it look like day by day? Well, I got the pattern here. The sun has gone into Aries. I thought, uh-oh. On the last show, I should have told you about when the sun hit the equinox. Remember the pyramids, obelisks, they're all built to tell people those few minutes when the sun is at 0 Aries is a wonderful time to talk with Father and try to get some magic done. But I blew it and I didn't tell you when. Sorry. Anyway, 3 to 13 degrees of Aries. So the sun is going to square that Saturn-Mars at the end of next week for you, which bodes ill for this conjunction. Anyway, let's go around the wheel and do it day by day for you, okay? We're going to run the moon here around the edge. It takes a month to go all the way around. And as it goes through here, it makes angles, trines and squares, letting go and holding on, trines and squares. And that's the way the world feels. Friday, the 23rd of March, starts off here with the middle of the day before lunch with a nice sextile to Uranus. There's some brotherhood, there's some high-tech stuff going on. Your electronics and electricity is working good. And look at there, there's Friday night, Venus. Venus, that sexy thing, and it's on Venus's day. Freya is Friday. And so a lot of brotherhood in the middle of the day, a lot of lovingness at the end of the day, Friday, while the moon finishes the last of Gemini. On Saturday, the 24th, changes altogether. The moon's in Cancer. Oh boy, look at all the red. I put the squares and the oppositions are in red, if you haven't noticed. Blue is sextiles and trines. Those are the easy parts. But here Saturday morning, not so hot. There's a square to the sun and an opposition to Mars, and everybody's angry and ticked off, and there's going to be some fights and problems and then frustration as the sun hits, as the moon opposes Saturn. And eek, this is not a happy situation at all on Saturday. You're stuck. Not enough time, not enough money. Uh-oh. You got a little inspiration here. It's really early Sunday morning, good for church. You know, good trine to Neptune. But there's a square to Mercury going on. It's hard to talk and walk and get around. So don't talk. Just go and hum a tune for the Great Spirit Sunday morning on the 25th. In the middle of the day, Sunday, we've got a Pluto problem. Eek, a bug. Remember I used to use the big old Tyrannosaurus Rex as a symbol for Pluto. I don't do that because we all discovered that those horrible scaly dinosaurs were covered in feathers. Ha, 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 ha. They weren't horrible reptiles. Maybe they were the birds. And what that bird out there in my yard that just did that for you is really a miniature Tyrannosaurus, that Franklin. So anyway, Pluto, we're going to have some fun with Pluto a little later. But on Sunday morning, it's little Ika bug. And I have to say, this is not a drill. Sunday morning. In the afternoon, we get a trine to Jupiter. And, oh, truth and wisdom, it was a drill. No, it was a mistake. No, there's a square to Uranus Sunday night. Electronics aren't working very well. Electrical things. Lack of brotherhood. Feeling of jitteriness and shakiness. Continues through Monday. No rest here Monday morning. Look at that. Here, but before lunch, there's a square to Venus. And can't get no satisfaction Monday morning. Nope. Hope you got yours Friday night on the 23rd. So, there is a nice trine to the sun. It's after lunch on Monday. And you kind of get your head straight and projects start coming along that could work very well. We can even talk it over late Monday night, here around midnight, is a trine to Mercury. Of course, Mercury's still retrograde. Tuesday, the 27th, the moon's in Leo still. And you got your project and you can continue. And here late Tuesday night, here's a trine to Uranus. The technical stuff is going well too. On Wednesday, the 28th, the moon shifts into Virgo and feels a lot better. Here's a trine to Mars and a trine to Venus, and this is really social and romantic. And here's Romeo and Juliet, and they're going around holding hands, and it feels pretty good. There's a trine to Saturn after dinner, Maybe we should make this a contract. Ha 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 ha. Not a bad time for a good romantic crime contract. Moon in Virgo. On Thursday morning, we got that opposition to Neptune. Here's confusion and delusion and bad smells, and the music's too loud, and don't do alcohol. Hey, I got friends that send me stuff like cartoons, and here's one here. Come clean and do be the right thing. Alcohol numbs your brain, pot doesn't. This is another one. This is really funny. This came from Stephen Purcell. Take a moment. Republicans put Americans' fate in the hands of a wealthy TV personality with a big ego and zero political experience. And she said, it's simply appalling. Then he says, I hear Oprah may run in 2020. She'd make a great president. Oh, ye hypocrites. Well, there's a lot of that around these days, isn't there? Thursday morning, on the 29th, confusion and delusion. Movie stars? Well, how about Ronald Reagan? How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, who are you voting for? You got to get serious about this democracy, or are we going to lose it? Here's nice trine to Pluto, just about dinner time after dinner. And there's discovery going on. Sherlock Holmes is a good Pluto. Here's a good part of the FBI. And there's a sextile to Jupiter late. It's 9-10 o'clock at night. Aha, now I see it clear. So Thursday night you should do your research, look for some enlightenment, huh? Friday the moon's still in Virgo till you get past breakfast. Then it shifts into Libra. And another full change. It's kind of like last Saturday, huh? When we're going into it Friday afternoon here. Moon in Libra. Here's the square to Mars. It's around dinner time. Everybody's ticked off, anxious, impatient. Ask yourself what you're protecting. Yes. Now, this leads you right into the full moon. Saturn pops up here around 10, 11, maybe midnight even. The square to Saturn. You got stuck. And this is not fun. No. There's a full moon going on here Saturday morning. You're going to feel that Friday night. Makes Friday night not such a hot time to go exploring or go out to have fun. Because full moons doubles the accident rate. And you'll see it Friday night and Saturday morning. And here's Mars and Saturn having a problem. So, word to the wise. Stay home Friday night. Stay home Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon and evening, here's a square to Pluto. We're going to have sirens again. A little feeling of panickiness. This is not a drill. A nuke's going to hit in 10 minutes, lie flat on the floor. Pluto can be a problem. And unless you got common sense, it's too easy to panic and start running around. This is your reptile brain, the little brain stem and the spinal cord. It's got all those same instincts the reptiles do, flight or fight. So more on Pluto coming up. But Saturday night, not good for Pluto. Moon squaring Pluto. Goes through Saturday or Sunday morning, which is April 1st. Is that April Fool's Day? This is not a drill. Well, the moon's opposing Uranus. You won't like your cell phone much. And there could be more bad news there. Some of it might even be false. And you won't know until later. The moon shifts into Scorpio after lunch on Sunday, April 1st. And it all becomes more sane. Yeah, and here, late Sunday night, early Monday morning, the 2nd, there's a sextile to Mars and to Saturn. And your disciplined energy could win through here. What, we got a standing army that's the biggest the world's ever seen? What's going on? And we're paying them professional stuff. We're not drafting anymore. These are volunteers. Volunteers are dangerous. Rah, rah, R.A. we used to call them when I was in the Army. Regular Army brats. Make a hero out of them? What are they there for? An easy job? A chance to hurt somebody or blow something up? That's not romantic. I'm sorry. I don't like this all business our country's doing with the military. Sorry, but I'm going to tell the truth.